I'm over here with my big uncle, cousin, brother, the Templeton Peck of Expat Relocation and ESL teacherin.
If you guys could just tell me what you want, okay? Oh, come on. Deals can be struck on anything. Really?
Possibly the greatest public school teacher to ever live,
Definitely, not possibly.
Big Uncle Hollywood. And today we are going to sit you on our knees and be your big uncles and teach you about the ESL game in 2026. What the hell is going on in Vietnam? Lots of things changing. I'm sure you're going to want to stay tuned. But before you do, I want to remind you, youths and youngins, that if you get hemmed up with the dengue in a developing country, it's a good idea to have some kind of health insurance. So that's why we partner with Safety Wing for these videos because, hey, you could probably find a cheaper health insurance once you get to Vietnam, but you don't want to get there before you get yourself set up and get the dengue. What's up, guys? I'm in Mysore, India. I'm chilling with this cow here. If this cow were to give me mad cow disease, I would want to have health insurance. And if you're going to live as an expat, you're going to want to have health insurance too. He's either biting me or licking me. He's licking me. Aw, hello.
It's so cute.
See, if I get sick from touching this cow, I want to have health insurance, right? So Safety Wing is a good health insurance for people like me who travel around the world and live in interesting places. I'm covered. If I get sick in India, at least I got health insurance. Safety Wing is designed for people who move around and who travel, so it's the perfect health insurance for people who live our kind of lifestyle. All right, so we're gonna get right into it, youths and youngins, right into it with your big uncles, right? All right, so what do we need to tell them about 2026? There is a lot of stuff going on in Vietnam, guys. They just introduced the new law on teaching. This is going to have a big effect on the industry. As we're filming this, it's around Tet holiday, so we're going to be finding out soon how this looks in reality. I think it's inevitable that they're going to start to organize the industry. I don't think Vietnam will remain the Wild West forever, and I never thought that. And like you should also try to not think that way as well. Like if you're coming into Vietnam, it's not bad for you to utilize this time to try to build yourself up. If you are someone who doesn't have a degree, you don't want to look at this as like a forever thing. Unless if you plan to teach forever, you probably want to either marry a local or get a degree. So I think that's a good place to start for the conversation. Let's talk about degree or no degree in 2026.
Well, I mean, I'm evidence of no degree, still working, 80 hours a month at a public school. I have a bunch of teachers I work with, no degree. But once again, they're getting stricter with it. There's ways around it, but they're definitely getting stricter with it, especially if you want to be an international school or something of that nature. But there's teachers everywhere with no degrees right now. It's just they can't publicly say that they're going to do it. There's too many job openings.
So a lot of the guys you're working with also don't have degrees at the moment.
Nope. And one of them's been here 16 years.
Are they
from Belgium?
Is he concerned? Is he worrying?
Nope. The manager, the owner of my company, which I'm still working for, you got them for me. No, he says, she says, you can work as long as you want. So, but then there's other teachers that work for the company that have degrees that work in the nicer schools.
So I can say just from, again, anecdotal experience, clients, people we've helped recently that don't have degrees. I had a young man from Australia we brought over, and he took my advice about the cover shifts. I told him, listen, you don't have a degree. It's the middle of the year. Start covering a lot of shifts. And within about a month of him doing this, he now has offers for full-time in middle school. So he has no degree. He's a young native speaker. He is white and good looking. He is what they want. He looks like one of these surfer kids, kind of like you expect him to like jump on a wave and shit in Australia, But that's what the employers love that, So I had a feeling that all the talk of, oh, it's going to be so difficult and so strict. And then within 2 minutes, the recruiters were very interested in him. And I just got another client from New York. And he also doesn't have a degree. And already he's getting quite a lot of interest in the group chats that we create. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like they've introduced the new rules around teaching, and all this stuff is going to start to take effect after TET. So my suspicion is that they're not going to really stop people from teaching without degrees. They're just going to make it less comfortable. It's going to get harder to get them work permits. It's going to become a more uncomfortable thing. That's kind of a Vietnamese way of doing it. It's kind of like politely shuffling you out the door rather than just like pushing you out the door. But
Yeah,
they still need teachers. I mean, the demand is still there. How is it looking this
a
year?
lot of openers.
What's the school year like?
My school is, I see teachers coming in differently. We have our base group of teachers from certain companies, but there's always different teachers coming in because they'll be like, the other day I seen a teacher and then I never see him again. And then I'll talk to the other teacher and they'll be like, oh, well, he left. So there's always new teachers shuffling into the school. I've been there the last 2 years, and I, I'm probably the most stable though.
Right.
Being there the last 2 years, I haven't seen any other teachers except for one in the school from last year.
Hmm.
But there's the owner of the company is always texting me, do I know any teachers? So, and she's got about 20 schools, 25 schools in Tan Phu. She's always asking me, do I know anybody? And I'm like, well, not really, but I can find people if you need them, which I go through you.
I got no shortage of
Uh,
teachers looking for a few extra hours, that's for sure.
no, I mean, look, even the other guy you got, was he from Scotland?
Mm.
No degree. He just got his work permit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How'd that happen?
It's none of my business how that
But
happened.
yeah, and with Ted Holiday, think about this. We go back to school on the 22nd,
Hmm.
and then there's 1 week left of February. School ends at the end of May, so there's only 3 more months of school left.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well,
I
public
mean,
school.
I don't see I don't see the government really getting too strong to, 3 months left, let's kick everybody out now. If
Right.
anything, they'll do it over the summer maybe or something like that. But you could tell the government's changed. Like I have to fill out a book now and show it every week, have signatures in it. That's what the government wants there. They want to check what your lessons are. They are getting more involved.
Hmm. It's
I've been
inevitable.
signing a lot more papers. I've been signing a lot more paperwork this year.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. I mean, Vietnam is developing. There's going to be at some point standardization. It's a communist country. Of course, there's going to be centralization and standardization at some point. Like, and this is one of the things I always tell the non-degree people because I get a lot of people with degrees too. That's a misnomer. Sometimes people assume I'm like this non-degree guy. I get people with master's degrees in education that come to me to have them help get them situated with jobs and
Yeah, a lot of
employment.
guys. Yeah. I mean, I can name a bunch right off the top of my head. I won't,
Uncle
but they've been
Paul.
on your channel before.
Uncle
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah.
He's in a lot of videos. Uncle Paul's a proper teacher. He's got a master's degree in education. He's a teacher,
There's a
and
bunch of guys you just interviewed. Guy from Canada,
he- yep,
not
yep.
Mark,
So
the other
we,
guy
we
that you
get
did the video with.
we get all types. And I get all kinds of people. But for my non-degree people, I always try to tell them, guys, you got to have a plan. This can't be forever unless you're going to marry, like Uncle Hollywood over here. I mean, if you're not marrying and you don't have a degree, you are on borrowed time, and you should kind of know that. Like, I mean, the door for it's closing. It's not closed by any means yet, but it is closing little by little, and you're going to want to slide soon and get a position if you can.
This is what I'll compare the door to.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry. Spike has the big door in his doghouse, and then the mouse have the little in the. It's getting from that big to that big. You right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you tell me. Leave a comment. What's your most favorite cartoon? By the way, mine's Roadrunner. But the door's comparison to Spike and the cat and how they get small. It's gonna be the size of Tom soon.
Yeah, it's getting
So,
smaller.
or Jerry, I forget who the mouse is. Yeah, it's getting small, but you definitely be able to still get it. There's just too much. Last year, I was doing a lot of subbing too. I mean, I think that's the way to get into it.
It is definitely cover shifts
I
is the
think
way right
that's the
now.
stepping stone. Yeah, that's the stepping stone because then the companies get to know you. Because this takes so much energy and effort to do it now. They just don't want to do it for a dude that's gonna split out in a week or a girl.
Yeah, it's getting
But
harder
so I
for the
think they're being
employer.
more picky. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do the cover shifts and they see, oh, they like him at this school. Oh, he's doing okay here. Like maybe we'll put some effort and talk to the right people. So that's, I think, the way to go. And you got to be here. Got to be here if you don't have a degree.
Yes. And I learned from this year, from experience, guys. I got two different customers that were black guys with no degree, and it was very hard for them. They did. One of them got hired, and now he's okay. He's stable. Everything's good. Another one, he had a very hard time in Vietnam, and we got him a fallback job in Cambodia. So, but it wasn't. It was like very. It wasn't a lot of money. Cambodia is not really like the best spot for teaching at the moment. It's very saturated. So, yeah, we still situated him, and we put him into an employment situation because we're going to stick by you no matter what. Like, whether or not things work out right away, we're going to help you until it does. So it's not like you're out there by yourself. But I did want to say that it was very hard for black people without degrees. With a degree, I don't think it would be a problem. Like if you're a black American and you have a degree, I really don't think it would be a problem because you could go and work in a school that's going to be very document intensive. Like not every school is so flexible, right? Some of them are very document intensive. And if you have those
Right.
documents, it's far less likely they're going to be racist because even if they want to be, beggars can't be choosers. And for one of my guys, it still worked out really good for him, but he had to go through a lot where it was scary, where he thought he might run out of money, and we were trying to feed him contacts. And sooner or later, one of my leads worked for him, and he got a job, and now everything's cool.
That's why you got to. That's why you got to plan yourself to do this. You just can't. I've seen you. A lot of people come here through the years I've been here, and they're like, "Oh, I came here with $500 in my pocket." That's not how you do things. If you just want to travel, teach here and there, and travel around Asia, that's your goal. You might be able to get away with it. But if you want to do it where you're just done, like say you're getting older and you're in your 30s and I don't want to be in America. I want to do something abroad. This is the place. This is where you want to go. This is where you want to come. Even though you're a little bit established in America, but you're just getting sick of the grind. And I mean, I've been here. This year will be 7 years. I mean, the life compared to America and here is just a lot less stress. You just have a lot more time for yourself, and the money is comparable. If you're looking to compare what you make in America, the cost factors equal it out. So you can't think small. You got to think big.
So all the kids who I've seen getting grabbed up right away without documents were like young, white, or female, white.
A lot of females.
If you're a female, you're going to have a massive advantage, especially a white female native speaker, but even non-native speaker, you're still going to get snatched up most likely. If you're like an older white dude and you don't have a degree, it kind of depends on how old we're talking. If you're in your 40s or 50s, you probably could make it work. If you're in your 60s or 70s, it's going to be a lot harder, especially, Vietnam is very age discriminating, especially since, they're going to have to put up money to get you a work permit. And like, it's not going to be a straightforward process. You might be able to do something like be on a tourist visa and just teach under the table and like put together your own classes, which is what I would recommend for older people.
Well, you're now allowed. Sorry to interrupt. You're now allowed 90 days of working without a work permit. They upped it. That's a new law. So I think it used to be 30 days. Now they upped it to 90 days where you can work for somebody without a work permit. So that gives them time, I guess, for all the extra paperwork they're doing.
Yeah, to get the work permit.
So that's 3 months. I mean, school's only what, 9 months.
How is the criminal background check stuff this year? What was anything different?
They changed the address. I have a video on my channel, Hollywood's Journey. All the paperwork is still the same. Just the address has changed, and I heard it's a lot. You could do a lot more online too. Once again, they only check the background for Vietnam. They don't check backgrounds for the country you're coming from.
I always thought that was
They're
funny.
only checking. Yes, I just moved here 1 day ago. I'm clean.
Yeah.
I've never been arrested in Vietnam. I've been here 1 day. So people always, I have had people ask me that before. What happens if my record isn't like, as long as you're okay in Vietnam, they don't, it's going to cost 250,000, which is like $10 to get everything done. You're going to have to wear some pants and wait in line for a little bit and wait a few days to get it mailed. But as long as you're an outstanding citizen in Vietnam, you're okay.
So there's a caveat to that. Like, obviously, if you're applying for like a top level international school, they themselves will be requiring an international background check, right? Not every single employer is going to require an international background check, and an international background check is not necessary for a work permit in most cases, because every single year that I've put teachers through since I've been personally teaching, they and myself have only had to get the background check over in used to be over in District 1, DeKalb area, kind of like over by the Chinese embassy on Pasture Street, like kind of in that general area. But it's moved now. Where is it now?
I'm not sure the address is still on Pasture Street somewhere.
Okay.
I just did like a Trump thing. It's on Pasture Street somewhere. But I don't know the new address. I haven't had to do it in a while for the new address to remember it that much. But I know because one of the guys you just did it, and he went over all the paperwork with me. It was all the same. But he said a lot of it can be done more online now, though, so it's even easier. He said.
Well, he said it's
when
ministry.
I did it, it was.
He said it's a different ministry now. Like, it's Ministry of Police and not Ministry of Justice anymore.
They just changed the name. Quality Learning Center, Quality Learning Center, same thing.
So they've changed a lot of the districts. Like, Trump brought in some tariffs, and overnight there's like, massive consolidation of cities nationwide. They fired like thousands and thousands of bureaucrats. Like, when Vietnam wants to condense something, man, they know how to.
They let you go quick. Prices have been going up here though too.
Vung Tau is Saigon now, bro.
They changed all like the people. This is what I hate people on Facebook, dude. I don't remember the new name. I think it's Tan Sun Wa now. Mm-hmm. And I said Tan Bin. And who's the Tan Bin no more? You don't even know what you're talking about.
Living there for 6 years. You don't know what
I don't know what I'm talking about. I tell Grab drivers how to take me to work and where we're going.
Yeah, I tell them in Vietnamese.
And then you got somebody you don't know the name. No, I know the name, but I'm sorry, it's been in my brain for 6 years where I've lived and been, so I'm not going Tan Sun Wow.
Yeah. It takes a minute.
I hate those people.
It takes a minute for things to adjust.
I just remembered my phone number after 6 years.
Hey, that's what I mean. These things happen. It takes a minute to adjust. Give the man a break. What the fuck? All right. So TEFLs, right? So TEFLs. We've talked about this. We talked about this probably ad nauseum. Like, you do need a TEFL, but you don't need to spend $2,000 on it. Okay. Like, you could just get a cheap one on Groupon. Yeah, $25. Have you ever had a problem? Tell us about your TEFL.
I got mine, a few months before I moved here. I went on Groupon. Thanks to you. You said don't go crazy. And I found one for $25. I figured I'd splurge and go 150 hours instead of 120. Well, make it look better, right?
Of course.
I don't have a degree coming here and stuff, so
fancy. Top notch.
And yes, it cost more to mail it back to me. It was a place in Canada. than it did for my whole TEFL. So I think the whole thing with the mailing and the paying for it came to $70. But they can probably email it now. Who
Yeah, yeah.
knows, you know? But you need the
Well,
certificate.
yeah,
So they
you
got to mail
need
you the certificate.
you need the real one, especially if they're gonna
Yeah,
try to get you a work permit, you know?
yeah, no, you need the real one, and hopefully the company will translate it for you. If not, in your country, wherever you're coming from, try to get it translated with Vietnamese. Make it easier for the people to give you your job and just in general make your life easier.
Yeah, and I mean, like, let's be honest, if you do have a degree, you should probably do all the official paperwork stuff because it's just going to be a little bit more in your favor. But there are services in Vietnam that authenticate documents, even if you didn't do it in your country. So it's not like it has to be 100% done before you come. Usually, if you just have your degree with you, the Vietnamese can sort it out. But obviously, like, if you're a proper teacher, it's getting hard. You're going to want to do all that before you come, and it's getting harder and harder now for them to do those things. Even the U.S. consulate now has made it more difficult. So it kind of, you might want to, if you are a real teacher, try to take care of everything before you come.
I would highly recommend that now. It's just going to be easier than going through the paperwork and where you're at. Than one company usually just translates everything. So you get all your paperwork, send it to the company, and they'll translate it and give you your copies back with copies stamped in translation. You come here, you never know what the price is going to be. They could charge you more. You don't know if the stamp is real.
I have a guy who has a service out here, and he's doing them. And so there are people who are doing them. I know that. I just,
Well,
like Hollywood said, if you do it in your country, it'll be more official.
2 years ago, I was working for a separate company, and there was a test we had to take for, I forget the name, the CCA or something. They wanted you to take. I said, I'm not taking. They said, no problem. We have a person in the back room doing the test for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Just give us a few bucks. And the dude in the back just.
So I guess I should tell the story. I paid too much for my TEFL because I was living in New Zealand and I had been to Southeast Asia, but I hadn't like lived in Southeast Asia. So at the time I didn't really understand how things worked. And I paid too much for this TEFL. I thought this was going to be like a serious thing. I think I paid like $250. And then, the thing that was like and it stuck with me for years, man, a real like pivotal moment in my journey, so to speak, was I went down to the Vietnamese consulate in Wellington, New Zealand. And I asked them about how much it would cost for a tourist visa at the time. We were kind of feeling out if we were thinking about going there. And they told me this really high price that was different than what I was seeing online. And I was confused. And I said, why is it so expensive? I see this like e-visa invitation letter thing for $5. And they're like, oh, well, those are the unofficial prices. This is the official price. I was like, what? What? But this is not like somebody
Like
on the
using
internet.
fake ones.
This happened at the embassy. This is the embassy workers telling me this. And and like at the time, I didn't really understand, and that's the naiveness of where I was at before I left the West, right? And now, once I lived in Vietnam, obviously for 6 years, like now I get it. Like there's an official way and an unofficial way, and that's just the way this country operates.
There's the front door and the back door.
Yeah, there is. And if you have all your documents, you might as well try to come in through the front door. If you are
Do
lacking
it
in
the right way.
documents,
Yeah, the back door is your only choice. You got to go through the fairy tale back door,
and
The
if
front
you're
door, if you have your paperwork, it's easy.
yeah, and if you don't have your paperwork, you come in through the back door. You probably do want to get your degree as quickly as possible if you plan to continue doing this for a long time.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if you want to teach abroad, it's just getting more difficult around the world to teach without a degree. Like if you want to work in Europe, you definitely need a degree. You want to work in what is it, Japan? I know you need a degree. Uh,
So
there's all over, all over.
so there is ways you can teach in places like Japan without a degree, but it's not, like it's not ideal. There's ways that you can teach in South America without a degree, but there's not much money to be made there. There's ways that you can teach in Eastern Europe without a degree, but without the degree, there's not much money to be made. So it's more like the places where you can actually live doing this and support yourself doing this
Right.
are getting harder and harder.
If you want to work for a school year and just travel, that's fine. But if you want to do it for a long time because you're just done with your wherever you're coming from, you got to do it the right way.
Well, because at some point, places like Vietnam are going to become more like China, where it's going to be hard for you to get a job without a degree, and there's always a chance at some point it might throw you in jail. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, but that could happen because that's exactly what happened up in China. Was everything was pretty open until it wasn't. So like I say, if you're coming in without the paperwork, just, try to think of this as a stepping stone and use the time and be smart about it. And don't think that a good thing is going to last forever. I started a business, and honestly, now I don't even have to teach. I'm location independent. I can live wherever I want. I can travel. But that happened for me because I didn't just sit there twiddling my thumbs and pretending that I was going to be an unqualified TEFL teacher forever. I used it to kind of level up.
Found that niche.
That's kind of what I was going to get to talking about was like, the gray area. Like there is, some more difficulties coming towards people who don't have documents. And a lot of them, I think, will be either teaching on tourist visas or in some better companies, they may be able to get them business visas, which will make it a little bit easier on them. And then, teaching kind of in that kind of gray area space, I think that's still going to be happening probably this coming year. But I think getting people without degrees work permits is going to get harder and harder and harder. And like I think come September, it's going to be really telling. We're going to find out like whether or not this thing has really changed or if it's kind of like another scare.
Well, I mean, visas are definitely tightening up. Like now, like you have your work permit visa for your temporary resident card or your marriage visa. That's it, spousal visa.
Mhm.
Right now, those are the only two you can get long term. Minimum 2 years or minimum 1 year for the work permit. If you're married, it's 4. There's other ways you can push it. They're getting there, but their visa doors are closing down. They're opening different ones up. They have some. They're talking about the golden visa. A certain age you can move here and be retired. They haven't made it official yet. They're talking about different types of visas, but they're talking about it forever. They're not really doing it.
Well, and
It's coming.
these visas wouldn't help you as a teacher necessarily, unless you're living on a retirement visa and then you're teaching under the table. But like for you, just as someone coming in who wants to teach English in Vietnam, it's going to come down to like either your employer has like a company where they put you on as a consultant or something else, which again they're cracking down more on, but like that kind of thing
Or
definitely.
they have like special visas, like if you're a scientist or you have a high profile job, they have different visas for that.
But that's still not going to
But the
help a
most common
teacher.
visas, no, if you're a teacher, you got a work permit. That's it. You're on the work permit visa.
Yeah.
And it could be from 1 year to 2 years. You'll have to redo it. And if you don't have your degree, you're still getting it, but you after that 1 or 2 years that you have your work permit for, who knows if you can get it again?
Oh,
Because every year is different.
I think a lot of them will be teaching on tourist visas, bro, or on business visas. I think that's going to start to happen more because I think it's going to get harder to get them the work permit.
What companies might have to start doing, because with the new law now, you can work 90 days without a work permit. Okay, work 89 days. Tell your teacher take a vacation somewhere for 2 weeks. Come
Right.
back, do another 89 days.
Yeah. I just
You
suspect
know,
that's my suspicion based on the vibes, It's not you can take it or don't, but I think that more and more that's what you're going to see a lot of is a lot of
yeah.
border run teachers. Yeah.
Well, they're cutting down on border runs now too in Vietnam. So, they're imposing that you're going to have to leave for 45 days in between after your second visa run to Cambodia and back. I've also heard they were talking about 30 days. Same as Thailand, they're doing the same thing there. But once again, they're not sure yet on the exact days. Just like the new visa that's coming up in July, they're not sure on all the wording yet. So that's how Vietnam gets through their stuff. They're not sure on their wording a lot of times.
I wouldn't panic yet. I wouldn't panic yet. I think like just because they're talking about it, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to happen. There's lots of things they talk about. They've been talking about a retirement visa for years. That hasn't happened
The
yet.
golden visa.
The
The
golden
golden visa.
visa,
Yeah.
yeah, it hasn't happened. So be
No, they
careful.
have a lot of visas they want to talk about. It's just once it's put in, will they have exact numbers? Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, with Vietnam guys, you're going to always hear a lot of rumors. So, like, I wouldn't freak out about border runs. I wouldn't freak out about anything like that happening until you see the white piece of paper with the red stamp on it. And it will be all over social media. There'll be a new decree. And that's when you need to start worrying about things, right? If there's a decree that says, okay, we're gonna have a blackout period where you're not allowed to come back to Vietnam for a certain period of time, then you need to start worrying. But if you're just hearing rumors in the wind, like you can take it like Hollywood said. It's like a vibe. It's like the direction the wind is blowing, but it's not concrete that they're going to just throw out all the foreigners tomorrow. But I can tell you something, and you probably could comment on this,
No.
Hollywood. Is I think a lot of the problems that are happening around the attitude towards visas and towards foreigners is because of a lot of stuff that's going on up in Da Nang. It's made all the top lists, so it's like Chiang Mai now, and everybody and their mother is going to Da Nang, and you're getting a lot of really stupid people, man. You saw that guy from California who like robbed the fucking
Jewelry store.
yeah,
And then
bro.
and Nha Trang too. Nha Trang, it's all Russian. They went
Mhm.
from Phu Quoc to Nha Trang because it's cheaper. It's Russian. Everybody's not that I have a problem with people from Russia, cool people, but I came to Vietnam, not Russia,
Well, that doesn't
and it's
bother me.
everywhere.
That doesn't bother me. What bothers me more is that because it's cheap, you're getting people who are kind of fucking, it is what it is, right? You get some ding dongs, bro. And there's a video recently of a guy who's like fucking walking into people's houses and taking laptops. This is circulating in Da Nang. There's a bunch of African prostitutes that just got fucking bagged up and arrested in Bangkok. There was like a huge raid. They caught a whole ton of them. There's just like you start to get these low level, low class people. And I can understand why Vietnam would eventually want to put an end to that.
Well, this is what it seems like to me with Vietnam. Like Thailand and China will put new laws in, and then all of a sudden Vietnam's like, well, maybe we should do that.
Hmm.
But let's hold off a little bit, see how it works for them.
Yeah, no, probably correct.
I think that's what they do. So, because Thailand did that with the re-entering.
No, that's true. Thailand right now is making it more difficult. You can still do so. The way it works now is they're it hasn't even happened yet, but they're proposing. You still get 60 days on arrival as like a U.S. citizen or a Brit or a strong passport, and then you can extend it to 90 days total by going to immigration and paying some money. But the proposal is to bring it down to 30 days and then have to do an immigration extension to 60 days, with the caveat that if you do too many of these in the row, the random immigration officer might deny you, right? So Thailand is
Right.
being, they haven't even officially done it themselves yet because their still an economy is in a fucking mess. Their tourism is ruined because of the war with Cambodia, and because it's also just become kind of expensive in Thailand. And that's what you were talking about in
Ooh,
Vietnam. It's getting more expensive in Vietnam too.
yeah. As a foreigner, it's not expensive.
No, no.
But for instance, my wife's a local. She, especially for Tet, prices go up, but she's just
Mm,
in general, food costs are going up. I mean, Vietnam just added a new alcohol tax. Beer went
mm.
up. What was it, 16% this year, 20% next year? They're raising it for a 6-year period. So for the next 6 years, your beer is now going to probably cost 70 cents instead of 50 cents.
Well, the way it's going up in Vietnam is not necessarily as obvious as the way it goes up in like a Western country. So the things that will go up is like housing. Like living in District 1 is much more expensive than it was years ago.
Well, to locals, everything's going up.
I mean, even
As a
for the
local, all
foreigner.
prices are up.
think about it, even for a foreigner, like I lived in the Mastery in Tao Dien during the pandemic and I paid $600 for a two bedroom. Those two bedrooms start at like 800 to $1,000 now, just starting, you
Well,
know?
because it's probably harder to get the paperwork for lot more owners of the buildings don't really want foreigners in their building anymore.
Well, it's a lot of work.
There's too much paperwork. They get nervous, and a lot of foreigners are stupid. You know, they fight or they're doing something they shouldn't be doing in their room, and the police knock on the door. The owner don't want any of that stuff.
Well, and
Got to
also,
handle yourself.
I believe what's going on up in Da Nang and places like that. A lot of these are, even in Saigon to an extent, are these are artificial bubbles in the housing. They will eventually burst and prices will come down because there is like way too much housing being built. Like you can see that there's all these towers everywhere in Asia that they just put up that sit empty forever, right? And it's like no matter what time of the year, you're always going to find something in like a Vin Homes or find something in Mastery. But there is an increase in the price. Like it is definitely not as cheap as years ago. I mean, the days of you coming to District 1 or District 3 and finding a decent service department for like 6-7 million is are pretty much over. Like
Oh,
even my old
yeah,
landlord,
no,
she's
no.
renting nine, her places are about 9 or 10 million, and those studios when I first moved there were only about 7 million. So again, it's not expensive if you're an expat making US dollars, but if you're working as a TEFL teacher, especially like a lower end TEFL teacher, like you will feel a difference. So how about salary, man? At least in your niche, in your section of the ESL market, how you doing with the money?
Okay, well, I'll show you the steps. How about that? I got them right in front of me. So
Hmm.
this is the teacher register. This is what the government wants you to fill out and have everybody sign. It's
Mm.
called the teacher register. And what you do is you put in the date, the lesson and the unit, your class, and sign it. What also this helps you do, I don't know what the government wants this for, man. I don't know, but I got to show it. They're really like like my company is like, you're not getting paid unless you have it done. So
Right,
it
right,
must be
right.
important.
No, definitely, definitely. You got to do it.
um, yeah, but it kind of helps you out too because you can count your lessons for the month
Yeah,
and then go over it when they send it to you because sometimes they miss some,
right.
sometimes you miss some. So it is a good way to go over it. So they give you they send you a timesheet and you got to put, so for me, I teach little kids, it's 35-minute periods, lessons. So each lesson is 35 minutes. So you got to type in 35 and week one, your how many lessons you did, and you do it for the whole month. Show them the book, go in, then they give you a pink slip. I don't want to share
Okay.
information, but
Right, right.
and it breaks down how much they give you in your bank account because once you have your temporary resident card, you can open up a bank account. New tax laws this year. Anything over 10,999,000, they tax the company and you on the amount they deposit in your account.
Oh God.
So the companies have been putting in like 10,500,000,
Right.
and then they give you a big knot. Now this isn't the big knot, but it depends if they give you 200s or 500s.
Right, right,
Then
right.
you get the rest of your money, and it's like out here into So I put my money in this, and the money in the bank I don't touch.
Right, right.
So
Smart.
because I don't work in the summer, all I do is tutor.
Right.
So the bank account money will be my summer money, and I live off this. I make an average of 450,000, which 100,000 is $4.
Okay.
Just so you can go off that. Married with a kid, pay for her school, both her schools. I pay for
Right.
aircon. I pay for water, everything. And every month I still have money left over. And my recreational stuff I do, and my grab, because I don't drive. I grab it, so that's like $80 a month.
Mhm.
Um, so the money in the bank I don't touch. The cash I try to last all month, and to see how much I can take over. And I always take some out and hide it. And I do, just in my public school, I work 77 to 80 hours a month,
What about training centers?
which
Are they doing any training centers?
which well, I've been tutoring more at night because I can make more money tutoring at night. I was working at a public school, private school, on the days I'm not working at my uh, main job. So I would work 80 hours at my primary school, 6 hours at my private school, and then I do 20 hours of tutoring
What are you
per month.
charging? What are you
So
charging for tutoring?
it varies on your living.
Right. Well, just give us a
If I
range,
have a
like a
teacher,
range.
if 500,
Okay. Right around thereabouts.
yeah, around 500, yeah.
Okay.
Unless you're a teacher that works for me, like a teacher aide, they say, "Oh, you're a very good teacher. What do you charge?" I say, "What can you afford?" Because I got to work with them next year, and then I cut them a break
Do any of
so
them
they don't
try to
complain
get,
about me next year.
do any of the training centers or the public schools try to get any extra work out of you, like free work, like meeting parents and not wanting to pay, things like that?
Yes, but they just had the book festival. They just had uh, every Monday they have festivals in the morning. But my company pays me for it. I tell the company I'll show up, but I'm getting paid for it. And then the other teacher I'll talk to, oh, did you get paid for it? No, what do you mean? You got to talk. You got to open your mouth. I'm not here to do things for free.
No.
But I do take money out of my pocket for the kids. Like, I buy
Right.
stickers and crackers, and
Candy and shit, yeah.
they call me, I shouldn't say this, but I'm sure I'll be made fun of. I'm the teddy bear man. I
Oh,
hand out little teddy bears
that's
to the kids
funny.
that listen. The
Oh,
teddy bear is
cool.
4,000. So you buy 100 of them, and during the class, I'll spell stuff wrong either on purpose or by mistake, because your brain is, you're dodging things. I have a special kid who just punched me in my surgery the other day. So,
Oh God.
not only are you teaching, you got to be, because the TA's on her phone not paying attention with the crazy kid
Yeah, yeah.
who hits a lot, and you're not
Typical.
paying, yeah. So, I mean, that's one of the things that you got to deal with when you're teaching English.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll spell something wrong on the board sometimes because you're looking like you're looking for the police, over your shoulder.
Right.
And if the kid notices it, oh, you spelled it wrong. Oh, you want a teddy bear? Yeah, I'll go
Right.
spell it.
Right. Nice.
Or
Nice.
or when I teach, I say things like, what's the biggest mountain in Vietnam?
Hmm.
Fancy Pan.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll say, how many people have died on Mount Everest? And they got to remember how many people died.
Right, right.
I'll give out weird, because I know a lot of weird information,
Facts. Yeah,
you
weird
know?
facts. Yeah.
Yeah. And I throw them out. And what I've been doing, I don't know if I'm getting off tangent here,
No, it's like
but
trivia.
I've been adding new things to the board for sticky balls. Remember,
Right.
you write the words and now I write teddy bear or 10 jumping jacks.
Oh, okay.
So the teddy bear will be like this small.
Right.
The 10 jumping jacks will be this big, and they're right next to each other. I said,
Right. So they hit it, they
and
gotta do 10 jumping jacks.
yeah, and they love it. No, I want
Yeah.
the jumping jacks. I don't want the teddy bear. So
Ah,
so I've been adding, yeah. So I've been adding that stuff.
that's funny.
But you spend a little bit of money on the kids because it's fun, and a lot of them don't have much.
So what's a realistic take
So
home? Like say working in a public school and doing some shifts
30 million.
At the public
30
school
million.
by
You
itself.
should
What
be,
about the
yeah, by
extras?
itself. I with every month you have a day off here, or they're doing a test here, and you're gonna make 30 to 34 million
What
for
about the
77
extras?
to 80 hours.
What about with the training centers and all the extras? And
10 million,
so altogether, like
8 million.
45
Yeah,
million you're
yeah,
probably doing a month.
yeah.
What are you
I
saving?
would say average because 38. All the money in the
38.
bank. So I save 10,500,000 a month in the bank,
Good. That's good.
and then I take out 2 million and put it in my secret spot so I forget about it, and then the rest, you know, she buys food, I buy, rent, things like that, and I'm still good. Now, if you're
Yeah,
when I was single, I saved in one school year almost 5 grand in my first year here. My
that's
first
good.
full school year, I saved about 5 grand. I wasn't paying 800 for rent. I lived in Tan Phu. $280 for rent per month. That included Wi-Fi, cable,
Yeah.
security.
It was cheap out there for
Electric
you.
was $60. Yeah, but I know teachers that live in Tudak, and they're
Yeah,
spending
yeah.
700. It depends how you want to live.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
I don't need much. When you're solo living and stuff, you don't need.
What about some of the best cities for teaching this year? I still think Saigon is king, probably Hanoi is number two. And then I would say second or
Those
third
are the
would be
top
like,
two.
then I would say satellite cities. It's like, so satellite cities of Saigon and satellite cities of Hanoi, maybe Haiphong. These places are high demand right now.
Well, so this, I don't know the shape of it. I don't remember. Let's say this is Saigon, the good part, the money making part. Then you have or we could say it's like the core of the earth. You have the core, your money maker, and then each level there's less and less there's teachers out there spitting out, so I would say the
The
outer
concentrate.
skirts of the core of Saigon and Hanoi, but I know a lot of teachers that are working in Da Nang.
There are, but it's
You,
very
yeah,
competitive. My God, it's competitive though, man, because everybody and their mother wants to be
you need a
there.
degree. You
Yes,
need a
and
degree,
you can be replaced very easily. That's the thing with the name.
right? What I tend to find out is you should have a degree. It'll be easier. If you don't, you go to Queen Young. Queen Young is there's not a lot of tourists there.
Right.
It's a fishing place. I visited there. They have 10 schools. So you got to
Right.
figure each school's going to have 4 teachers. So you got about 40 teachers in that. If you can get in there, good. Na Chang has a little bit more schooling, but again, these are the
Competitive.
beach areas. Yeah.
Competitive. Very competitive.
I seen on
Low
Facebook
pay.
people hiring in Phu Quoc. Yeah.
It does happen.
But I think it does, but I think the main core is in Saigon, Hanoi, and then you have the outer layers of the border.
That's right.
Then you
I
can
agree.
spit Cam Tao and things like that are going to be like 40 teachers. You want your best chance with no degree, you come to Saigon.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I would also
You
say
can get a job in Hanoi.
if you have a degree and you want to get a city that is a really cool city where you can make money and have a good quality of life, I would look at Ha Long. Ha Long has a lot of jobs. I mean, they're very document heavy. You're going to need all your paperwork. It's extremely strict up there, but it's beautiful and it's right on the border of China, so it's very developed. And you're right there at Ha Long Bay, and
It's a
it's as
lot.
cheap. The lot's growing. There's some jobs more than years ago, but it's still pretty small.
I
Like you
was just
said, maybe.
there. I was just there though. No, the schools are everywhere now.
Yeah, but they don't all have foreigners in them. That's the thing, They don't all necessarily have native speakers. Like that's the problem with a place like Queen Young too, is that like there will be a lot of schools, but not every school is going to be able to afford to have the foreigner. Boon Mao Tut is always looking for foreigners. So is, believe it or not, if you want the coastal life, I see a lot of jobs up in Tui Hua through my network, and that's but again, these places are very provincial, very, very provincial. It is a coastal life, but there's going to be like zero Western services, same in like Boon Mao Tut. It's like
Everything's cheap. Everything
cheap,
will be cheap
super
though.
cheap, but it's
Whew.
also going to be like a little
Save so
kingdom.
much money.
So your employer, if they're cool, it could be really nice. But if your employer's not cool, they already know all the officials, they know the government, they may be one of the only shows in town. So it's that type of thing. If you don't have your paperwork, you probably want to try to get into Saigon. I think that's with the most wiggle room. Hanoi, you definitely can still get jobs without a degree. The problem in Hanoi is the
The
business culture and
capital.
the
Yeah.
people may take more advantage of you up there. You need to be much more careful in the north if especially working without any kind of paperwork. And now you can get fucked in either place. I'm not saying, it's just that business culture in the north is like a different beast, you know. Haiphong City, one of the richest cities in Vietnam. That's probably a place that's worth looking at. Haiphong has the port. There's a lot of economy up that way. It's near to Ha Long City. That whole little cluster of development along the north there, you know, you're going to want to have a degree, but there is a lot of jobs up that way. If you can deal with the pollution and the northern business culture, you know, these are not bad options. But I think if you want the lifestyle, man, Saigon still is one of the best places for a good lifestyle.
You want to start in Saigon. I would say your first year at least. Start in Saigon. It's just gonna you'll be able to handle the outskirts a little bit more because it's so crazy here, and then maybe you go teach there for a school year, and you're like, oh, this is great. I know horns, pollution might be good, you know.
Or less at
But
least.
definitely start here. Definitely start in Saigon, and then learn how to teach a little bit. It's not teaching isn't teaching here. It's
Mhm.
not like you got to be a teacher like in other countries. You still have to lesson plan. A lot of companies do it for you now, but uh, you're repeating yourself a lot. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's just you think you're coming to save Vietnam, but you really not.
No.
You're helping them.
Yeah, you are. You are
You're
doing something
helping
good.
them, but the education department of Vietnam doesn't really teach you how you think English should be taught, like how you learn it in
Right.
America or wherever
Right.
you're from, isn't how they teach it here. And you can't discipline, you can't yell, you can't, the,
Right.
you know, the culture here is crazy different. That takes a year to get used to learning those things. Because if you go to the outskirts, the culture there, they're going to want it instantly.
Super provincial. They're not used to foreigners. They're not used to it.
Right. So
Yeah.
here you're picking up the do's and don'ts, like what what don't wear sandals to work.
Right. I know teachers who do. I know teachers who do, man. They show up dressed up. You know, I know some in Saigon like who would show up, but they wear dress clothes, but dress clothes with slippers. You know, which is like, you know, I think like you said, like more people are coming out here now. It's going to become more competitive. It would be to your benefit to probably look more professional, especially if you don't have paperwork. Do you think
They
you
want you to wear
would?
ties a lot often.
I think there's a lot of jobs out in like Bien Hoa, Dong Nai, these places that have now been merged with Saigon, Phu My, and what used to be Ba Ria, developing very, very fast. Ba Ria City developing very,
I'm
very
not. I
fast.
was gonna. Yeah, I was just gonna. I'm not sure how to pronounce all the ones. That's why I don't want to kill the names. You're doing
That's
a
all
way
right.
better job. But like the outskirts of Bahrain and stuff like that is.
Ba
But
Ria. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I see in groups all the time. Your groups, if you sign up with you get special groups. There's
Hmm.
teachers all over the outskirts, all looking for work. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. There's
depends
jobs
on
out
you.
there.
Depends on you. Right. And I would just suggest doing it in Saigon the first year ever. Even if you've been teaching 20 years
Hmm.
in Australia or
No,
America, it's not the same. Come here, learn the culture of teaching.
I agree. Saigon
You
is the
know,
most westernized. It's the most comfortable.
my
They're the most
first
open.
my first year teaching. You know, when you're teaching, sometimes you tend to sit on a desk and teach like a professor would. You know,
Hmm.
let me sit on the desk. I look professional. Got yelled at for it. Oh, teacher, you're on the desk. The kids yell at you. You know. So that was the last time. Little things like that. You know, like something you would do 100 times. Sit on a desk and talk to your class.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
You know. Here it's like a big culture shock. Oh, don't do that. You know.
The culture shock
Something
for
as
me
little as
was
that. So,
when my TA would tell all the kids to shut up and I would do her homework from college.
oh, teacher, can you help me with this, please? I have an exam tomorrow.
Yeah. I get that a
Okay, and then
lot.
you sit down. Then you sit down to help her. She go, "I'll teach the class. Can you do it for me?"
Or the TA with the
Okay.
megaphone, the TA with the megaphone yell, the cheap shitty $1 megaphone yelling at fucking
Yeah.
hitting the desk with a piece of wood. Uh,
Oh no! Now
can't.
now it's worse than a piece of wood. They actually are making like 3D printing plastic bangers now, man. The
Why
teachers
not?
all have them. I'm like, man, where'd you get that
Technology.
from? Oh, a guy 3D printing all the teachers to get discounts. And
Yeah, yeah. So it's worth mentioning that if you're a real teacher, just come in slow and calm down, and just remember that like just because you think you know better, it doesn't mean that you should say something. It's their country. They do things how they want to do it. You're there to fulfill a purpose with them, and don't try to save them or whatever in your mind you think you need to do. Just the Vietnamese know how they want to use you, and they'll give you a decent life and let you hang out in a very interesting country. They'll never really let you become one of them. They're not as stupid as we are in the West. They don't let in a bunch of people. They protect their culture, but they will let you be there for a minute, and they'll give you like a good
well,
standard of living.
yes, and I would say the second, other than the culture part, I don't know if we're getting off topic, but I think it's something that should be said. You're not allowed to, like I said just before, like really yell at them or punish them or tell them to stand in the corner. But at the same time, you have to have control of the class.
Hmm.
So you can't punish or make them, do anything, but you still have to control 30 to 40, 50 kids.
Yeah. It's like a Mission Impossible.
That is, yeah, that is the part, you know, and five of them are special,
Right.
eating glue, you know, screaming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the teacher aide who's making $200 a month is on her phone, like, don't care.
Yeah. She don't care. Yeah. Yeah,
And that's the hardest thing.
she hates you because you remind her of her husband, and she works hella hard, and you make all the money, and you're like an asshole, So yeah, and they will try to get you fired if they don't like you. So that's something too, But so with all that said, is it still worth it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I think so too.
Without 100%. I mean, once again, are you going to do it for the rest? There are people here that have been doing it for 25 years.
Well, if you're going to do
If
that,
you're in your 60s, it's harder to get a job. But if you've been here 20 years in your 50s or 40s and you work with the same company, you'll always work.
right? But if you're going to do
But
that, you
I
should
mean,
get a degree. You should have a degree. You should
yeah,
professionalize.
you'll have more options. You'll have
Like
better options to choose from. Just met a dude from the UK. He's been with them for 12 years and he just got
yeah,
his degree. And he's like, I'm getting out of this company.
yeah.
Now he got his degree. So
A
he's
bad
been
one.
working for them. And, he married a Vietnamese woman, got 2 kids, and he's worked on his degree here while teaching.
Smart.
So that now he said this is last year with that company. Because
Bad company.
yeah.
Yeah, we know.
But look, he's here a long time with kids, married, and he got his college degree. Now he can do and I think he said he was 50, 58. So now he's more secure. He can stay there. He said he was thinking about going back to the UK because they have no organized sports here for his kids that he would like to involve them in.
Yeah, well, the
So
UK is a communist shithole, so he should be very careful about going back to the fucking UK. I get clients
I
going out of there,
mentioned
bro.
it to him. Make sure everything you say online is safe.
Yeah, bro. Yo, Canada's even worse. I have a client from Canada. The stories are shocking.
That's a different video altogether. I
Yeah,
don't
a
get that.
different conversation. Different conversation.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. He's been here long enough to work and get his degree to be able to in America, Australia. That's almost impossible nowadays.
Yeah.
To work 50 to 60 hours a week and still get your degree. It's done. It can be done. I'm not saying it can't be done. I know people have done it. It's just very hard.
There's online degrees
What is
now
it?
that you can, if you're an American, you can do in as little as 7 weeks. But most people, it's a little bit longer. But there are degrees you can get in like a month or two.
But what is it? It's going down. I mean, Trump's doing better, but I mean, in general, I mean, believe 55% of America lives week to week or month to month. So it's hard
Right.
to go to school and work all that. Definitely worth it.
And that's why this is an opportunity. And if you don't have a degree and you can still slide in, and even if it means doing cover shifts and tourist visa runs for a while, like you might want to try to use that time to leverage and to try to get your life together. But I don't recommend coming out here with like next to no money and no documents and just thinking it's
No.
going to be the bummy free ride, because I think you might be disappointed. A lot of people are like, oh, well, if Vietnam ever becomes too strict, I'm going to go to Cambodia. And it's like, yeah, you and everybody else, bro. Like, you think you're the first one who heard that Cambodia doesn't officially require a degree? I'll clue you into something. All the good jobs in Cambodia require a degree. All the kind of like
Right.
average shittier jobs don't, but there are also a million people willing to work at those jobs because Cambodia is more set up for Western foreigners. It's got more tourism. Like, it's pretty much like Angkor Wat, right? Like one of the most visited places in Southeast Asia. This is the thing with a lot of people. They don't really understand. They think they're going to come to Vietnam, they're going to work in Da Nang and have a cool beach life. And there are some people who can make that a reality, but for the vast majority of people, you're going to be schlepping on a motorbike in Saigon. You're going to be picking up cover shifts. It all depends on how qualified you are. If you're really qualified, of course, there's international schools, there's Montessori schools, there's everything. But if you're coming in at the bottom of the industry, you really can't expect it to be this forever thing where you're going to get to slide by and you're not going to have to worry about paperwork. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and share if you appreciate authentic content. I want you to check out Uncle Hollywood's YouTube channel. He's just a great guy. We've been working together. He's one of my oldest clients, and I always am happy to have him on the show and to hear his perspective. I want to remind you guys I do hourly consulting as well as hourly coaching, and I have full relocation packages, whether it's to come to Vietnam and you want to stay long term, you have your own means of income, or you want to come out there, you want to work as a teacher. I have connections for employment in China. I have contacts for retirement all throughout Southeast Asia, investment, you name it. Whatever your objectives are, Big Uncle can help you get situated. Uncle Hollywood, can you leave us with some final thoughts on ESL in 2026, teaching English in Vietnam?
I would definitely do it. Make sure you're prepared before you come. We have 3 months left of school pretty much after the Tet holiday. Then you have the summer. And I would say if you're going to do it, start coming now, get your stuff ready. Even without your degree, I would be here. Definitely hook up with Reborn Abroad. I've been here ever since for him. Thank God. The difference I've seen in the last 6 years to what I'm here now, the paperwork is much harder. And the degrees, you need it, but you really don't. The jobs are easier if you have it. So just try to be organized. I've seen a lot of teachers come unorganized and they're out in 2 months. Don't be stupid. Have a plan. Be organized about it. Do your homework. But the only true way is to be here. You could do some subbing, have the summer off and travel Vietnam when the new school year starts in September. It ends in May with a bunch of breaks. Vietnam has 30 new days off of school next year. They just passed like 5 more holidays. So, I mean, you have your breaks. You work in 80 hours. If you're in high school, 100 hours a month. You have time for yourself. Just be organized, be prepared. One more quick thing. I would just say the one thing I do notice a lot, if you don't have a degree and you're teaching, don't be stupid in class, show up with alcohol on your breath. And, nowadays you got to show up ready to go.
And all I'm saying is that, you should just try to get legal as quickly as possible, right? Like, if they can get
Yes.
you the work permit, fantastic. Use that time to get the degree. Cover yourself. It's really, there's online options. Like, if this is what you want to do, you should really try to be in compliance because Vietnam is becoming more regulated and it's only a matter of time before that door closes for you. So, take advantage of what you can do and, You know, don't be one of those people who gets caught with their pants down unprepared, and don't say big uncle didn't try to warn you. Thank you for watching,
Don't rob
guys.
any jewelry stores.
Yeah, don't rob any jewelry stores in Da Nang. Don't do anything fucking illegal and stupid. Like, don't make our nationality look bad. That's all I'm saying. You know, like your passport. You know, this is a reflection of you. And if you act like a ding dong, you make us all look bad. So behave yourself, brush your teeth, eat your vegetables, treat your mother right, and behave in Vietnam. You know, behave in Vietnam the way that you would want someone to behave in your country. It's not rocket science. Be polite, be respectful, respect the culture, and keep your visa in good standing. All those years I lived in Vietnam, I always kept my visa in good standing. Never once did I ever play games, and you shouldn't either. So make sure you take Big Uncle's advice, and if you're ready to make the move, hit us up on any of the social media and the contact information of the description.
Brush your face and wash your teeth, son.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Brush your teeth.
Reborn Abroad helped me retire in Vietnam.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Years later, we're still friends, so hit us up.
Reborn Abroad, they're legit. They got me a job. I'm pretty happy.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Reborn Abroad got me a job.
Brush your teeth.
Hey, what's up? I'm D from Canada. Hook up with the New York Nomad if you want a smooth ride into Vietnam or any Southeast Asian countries.
Hey, my name is Aaron. Get in contact with the New York Nomads. If you want to get into Vietnam, hit them up. They'll get you in securely and professionally.
Yo, this is Uncle Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, the New York Nomad got me a job. He's legit. Hit him up. Check him out.
New York Nomad set me up in Vietnam.
Yo, my man got me a job. Come to Vietnam.
Hey, what's up, guys? You thinking about coming to Vietnam? You're not sure where to start. You've heard a lot of things online. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's not. We offer a consulting service where we help you get on your feet in Vietnam. We give you advice on negotiating contracts with employers. We help you with real estate agents, visa agents that are reliable and that you can trust. And we help you get started in this amazing country and get on your feet. We help you get into different opportunities that might be more difficult for you if you were just landing in the country on your own. And we help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and problems that you could have as a newcomer here. We provide you with reliable job recruiters, visa agents, real estate agents, and advice. If you guys are thinking about coming to Vietnam, hit us up for a consultation. We'll help you get started, help you get on your feet, and hopefully you'll love Vietnam as much as we do. In today's world, you really got to watch out who's getting access to your data. If you're coming to these countries in Southeast Asia, you don't know what might be blocked, what might not be blocked. Having a VPN is just going to make your life a lot easier. We use Surfshark. There is a link in the description of every video for Surfshark. I am not making a ton of money off these people. I just use them personally. It's a decent service. And if you need a VPN to protect your data or to make it easier for you to access sites that you may not be able to access while you're spending time in a developing country, we recommend Surfshark. We've used others, but so far these guys have been pretty good. If you appreciate your big uncle's suggestion, go into the link of the video, take a second, click our link, and sign up with Surfshark. VPNs come in handy. And anyway, who wants everybody looking at their data?